Hello, good morning, everyone. Good this very moment. I don't think it's morning everywhere, but anyone joining us, Tibetan Buddhist Society of Canberra here, thank you very much, everyone. Those who are here in person and all those who are joining online. Thank you very much. This is our regular Sunday morning meditation that has always been a tradition. So thank you for joining. Take a couple moments to gather your thoughts. Your intention, your attention should be good and far-sighted and noble and altruism. And your attention should be very still and very sincere and very serene with the topic, techniques of meditation. So before we do that, we will do this formal few prayers called refuge and for immeasurable 3 times each, those two paragraphs before we start. It's a start up to tune up your intention and very much a good attention, which we try to retain through the whole meditation. We will do the meditation in 3 lots of 10 minutes, so you try to observe the techniques of one-pointed calm abiding meditation, the object of which can be your posture, your breath, whatever you have received instructions on. We usually recommend people to focus on changing the 3 slots of time and slightly different techniques, such as the forward counting of qualified round breathing or reverse counting or whatever technique, so as to yield very still, very sincere motivation, very undistracted mind that is very serenely paying attention to your following and counting of the breath. Or if you're familiar with the deity yoga, you can focus on a deity or a simple object like a flower. So before that, we'll do the prayers. Join your hands at the heart. Oyenda Buddha Dhamma Sangha Atere Pere Ladama Bhavache Ajevendala Ashare Vadavadruve Endabu Tadama Sangha Atere Pere Ladama Bhavache Ajevendala Ashare Vadavadruve Endabu Tadama Sangha Atere Pere Ladama Bhavache Ajevendala Ashare Vadavadruve Endabu Tadama Sangha Atere Pere Ladama Bhavache Ajevendala Ashare Vadavadruve. May all beings have happiness and cause of happiness. May they be free from suffering and a cause of suffering. May they know a power from happiness that knows no suffering. May they dwell in equanimity, free from attachment, aversion, or those in power. May all beings have happiness and cause of happiness. May they be free from suffering and a cause of suffering. May they know a power from happiness that knows no suffering. May they dwell in equanimity, free from attachment, aversion, and those in power. May all beings have happiness and cause of happiness. May they be free from suffering and a cause of suffering. May they know a power from happiness that know no suffering. May they dwell in equanimity, free from attachment, aversion, and those near and far. May all beings have happiness and cause of happiness. May they be free from suffering and a cause of suffering. May they know a power from happiness that know no suffering. May they dwell in equanimity, free from attachment, aversion, and those near and far. So now we'll do the meditation, one-pointed, calm, abiding meditation. Observe the and serenity of your attention, and then simplicity of the technique, devoid of dullness, boredom, distraction, laziness and forgetfulness, all the above techniques. Try to bring mindfulness and introspection. So I'll use the gong to time the 3 lots of 10 minutes. So this morning I'm going to take some questions. Please feel free to ask the questions. Those of you who are here can raise hand. Others on Zoom can either unmute yourself and speak, or you can type, whichever suits you. If I can access the Facebook thing in here, I will do that. See if there's any questions there. Hello, everyone. If you just joined us, Tibetan Buddhist Society, we just finished the 30 minutes calm abiding meditation. I don't know what you were doing. We were trying to do that. And he says he was sleeping. So if you have any questions, please feel free to ask those who are here as well as those online. Please type in the questions or raise your hands up on those on Zoom. Thank you.
Is the Kangyo the most important?
Can you speak a bit loud, yeah?
So the Kangyo is the core, the most important volumes, I guess, because they're what everything else came from, isn't it? The Tengyo and the commentaries came from the initial ones. So
yes, the question, if you did not hear, is the importance of Kangyur. If you have not heard, Kangyur is the Tibetan Buddhist canon. Tibetan Buddhist canon are Kangyur. Ka means words of the Buddha, and Gyur means translations. So translations of the words or direct teachings given by the Buddha 2,600 years ago were recorded in memory for good many hundred years, and then later on was committed and standardized, established into Sanskrit, and then it was translated into a number of languages, and those that are translated into Tibetan is called Kangyur. Yes, Kangyur is the very core authoritative sources of all Buddhist teachings, because they were directly or endorsed by teachings of the Buddha. So there are 108 volumes. So if you can see in the picture, maybe camera can be directed to all those texts we have on my left. Those are the Kangyurs. So there you can see the Kangyurs are all these 108 volumes on this side. The Tengyur, which are all the commentaries by Indian teachers from early as 3rd century onwards till, say, 11th century, those are Indian commentaries on the Buddha's words. So Tengyurs are there, Kangyurs on this. So all the so-called major monastic curriculums, root texts they study by Nagarjuna or Shantideva or Chandakirti or Mahasiddha Virupa, and all those are found in the Tengyur, which is commentary literature. Yeah, so Kangyurs are so highly revered that they're written and published, kept, and people usually treat them as a shrine, you know. Of course, those people who are learned and can read, they can bring down and study and read them. But the actual textbooks are extracted out of the Kangyur and Tengyur, such as the more writings by great Indian masters. But Kangyurs themselves, if most monasteries where they usually at least get it read once a year. Or if not, they can at least open it up. The opening of Kangyur means each volume get opened and read at least a couple of pages from the top, middle, and the last, and then rewrap it, put it back. So every volume has to be done that in order to respect the contents of the text. Yeah. So Kangyur is very important. They are all translated in 8th century in Tibetan, then was revised in the 11th century and standardized. So now we have all fully accepted revised version since 11th century. So there hasn't been any need to revise because they're so perfectly revised then. Yeah.
What are the wrapped ones next to the Tengyur Rinpoche?
Well, there's of course, Kangyur and Tengyur are Indian texts. There are other texts like we have those. Each temple, monasteries, schools, traditions have got writings of the different Tibetan, what we call ethnic scholars of, say, Theravadins have their own scholars. Tibetans got Tibetan scholars. So some of them got 20, 30, 40 volumes of their own collected writings. So those are additional collected writings. Like one Tibetan master, he wrote over 200 volumes. His own collected writing was 200 volumes, exceeds the number of so there are so many other collected works. We call collected works are called kambum, collected works of any person, collected writings of any scholar. We would have, like Shakespeare's got a few volumes, and you have in modern, there are a lot of other literatures there. All the libraries are full of non-Kangyur and Tengyurs. All the national libraries, university libraries are full of non-Kangyur and Tengyur. Maybe there's a small section where they have religious texts, but the rest is all of civil subjects. Yeah, so you could have so many books on anything, on any topic. But such civil subjects are not put in the shrine. Subjects they are not holy books, I suppose. So that you might have only one holy book in some schools, some religious traditions, one holy books, and they think that's it. You can't have anything contrary to that. So no, in Buddhism you can have as many as 100 volumes, as well as commentaries, as well as many, and even the one book you should not accept because it's written by Buddha. You should examine and check and validate through your own experience the usefulness of it. You don't blindly accept even one book, let alone 108 books. So that's a Buddhist challenge for everybody. But not everyone writes books. It was like in Tibet, Buddhism spread as early as 8th century, it took a couple hundred years. And the indigenous scholars' writings did not start until, I think, late 14th, early 13th centuries. Before that, people didn't write. They translated. They polished those texts. They didn't bother to write their own things. They just studied and translated the authoritative text. When Buddhist thought becomes so established in the Tibetan psyche and mind and thought and philosophy and culture, then of course the indigenous scholars starting to write more. So therefore there are a lot of indigenous scholars, individual scholars' writings have mushroomed. Huh? Is there? Okay. Well, where is it? Okay. Hello. For practitioners who already have a regular sadhana practice of hair vajra or vajrayogini, could you kindly guide us on how to practice of calm abiding might be skillfully integrated into the regular sadhana, on which section, how long? Yes, of course, every sadhana, there is a section called, after you finish developing the sadhana, there's a section called to develop the divine pride. That's usually before the mantra recitation. So there you should pause and then reflect on the deity or subject of the meditation, on the pride of being. Pride really means having a sense of very clear conscious awareness of the emptiness of everything, but manifesting in the form of object of your meditation, be that yourself or an object. And then try to hold your attention by using the same technique of stillness, serenity, sincerity, and simplicity. So you keep your mind very focused. So that's an actual formal section called Semzin, holding the mind meditation. That in that part of the sadhana. But it is said that when you're doing the sadhana from the very beginning till the end, it is Semzin, it is calm abiding. It should be. And they say union of calm abiding and special insight should be the framework of all meditation, not just just before the mantra recitation. You should be still, calm, undistracted. If you're reading the prayers, which bulk of the sadhana practice is, you read through it, you try to bring very, very sort of flashing glimpses of the visualizations and feelings and devotions, what they call bring form, devotion, blessings that result into your practice. So whatever you are, say if you're doing refuge, you visualize all the Buddhas and all the enlightened ones. Like we have a shrine here, you feel all of their not just physical representation in bronze and gilded gold, but you see them as wisdom, a celestial entity of them. So the bringing form. And bringing devotion is you should feel the strong love or devotion and dedication of the teachings. You should bring your whole sincerity in being in the holy presence. Yeah? Form and devotion. The second is blessing. So blessing means positive energy, that it transforms you, that soothes you, that calms you, that transforms your mentality, that helps you to drop and stop your wrong views and ill will by the blessings and power of the meditation. You have a will and you want to drop and stop those negativity. So the blessing means that empowers you to stop the problems and their causes. And the result is that you become completely liberated from those ill will and doubts and so on. So if you did that, that is a refuge with union of calm abiding and special insight. So you don't have to think that, I wish I have some time to do calm abiding. When you're doing all the sadhana, you should stay very calm, because calm abiding is one-pointedness. Whatever prayer section you're doing, you have to remain one. Inside is you should know that the purpose and the appearance and the form and the blessings, all of these are in unison in that consolidated effort of energy. So they say all Buddhist meditation should be union of calm abiding and special insight meditation. All Buddhist conduct should be nonviolence. Yeah? All Buddhist view should be realization of what we call the interdependent origination of all things, and therefore empty of any inherent existence. So therefore view, action, meditation, they are all three in one. You never have one and not the other. You don't have sadhana and not calm abiding. You don't have sadhana and not having no time to do special insight. Ridiculous. Your whole identity of yourself becoming the deity is the insight meditation. Now losing that attention one-pointedly is calm abiding meditation. Even when you're doing the mantra recitation, for say, during the mantra recitation, you should bring these calm abiding and special insight together. The form is, of course, reciting the mantra and holding the mala and counting the prayers. Yeah, form, the outer form is that. But your visualization form is the whatever instruction of your visualization of the mantra recitation of the concerned deity yoga. Whether it's peaceful or whatever, color or how the mantra radiates or circles or whatever. So that's the form. But you shouldn't think that as a mere imagination. You should see that as a real resonation of the holy speech of the enlightened ones. That actually is what you call, you should be devoted. Every single utterance of the mantra is enabling you to speak the right speech and stop the wrong speech. For that purpose, you have these feelings with devotion, how important it is to develop the skill to practice and know where and how to practice right speech. So if you do that with mantra recitation, there is insight there is one-pointedness there, calm abiding is in there, special insight is in there. The form, the feeling. The devotion, the devotion. You should not see that you are uttering some foreign language formulas. You should see that you are speaking the language of kindness, tolerance, compassion, forgiveness, to bless your vocal and your audio consciousness. It is for that. And then you feel the result of that is no less than the enlightened speech of the Buddhas. So with that kind of attitude of certitude, if you recite the mantra, it is calm abiding. It is special insight. You shouldn't be thinking, I miss calm abiding. Because maybe you don't want to say anything, you don't want to read anything, you don't want to do any mantras. Maybe you want to just sit there idle, doing nothing, that's calm abiding. Give me a break. That is not calm abiding, that's dull abiding. Calm abiding can take many forms. Those people who don't do esoteric Vajrayana meditation, yes, a sutric form of calm abiding. Yeah, your sutric form of calm abiding, watching the breath and foundation for mindfulness is adequate. But when you do the tantric form of meditation, the four foundation mindfulness is still relevant. Your body becomes the form of enlightened form. That is, and your feeling is no longer real and you. That's a transformation of that feeling in a totally heightened form. So there is no. You can intersect entire Buddhist practices. And that's why I call path, including the result. You don't wait for the result in some long time future and at the finishing line. Every hour, every session of the sit, you should see some fruition through your own skillful execution of your mind, your thoughts, your feelings, your action, and your meditation. Yeah, so that is important to combine calm abiding meditations. Often people are, I've heard people who are very less educated, in Buddhist philosophy, they say, "Oh, why do karma abiding? It is Theravada meditation. You should do this." People really have a completely slanted version of understanding. The Theravada and Mahayana Vajrayana are all in essence one. Buddha had only one medicine, one purpose why he gave the teachings. That is to stop the suffering and its causation. And if it can be done by emphasizing renunciation, if it can be done by emphasizing altruism, or if it can be emphasized by emphasizing emptiness, so be it. But even if you emphasize only renunciation, you are renouncing what? The wrong view. So you have the right view there. You're renouncing what? Bad attitude, selfish attitude. So there's bodhicitta there. So what kind of renunciation is there which does not have altruism and the right view? I don't think there is. You have to holistically see the universality of these teachings. So we shouldn't piecemeal the teachings of the Buddha. We should see the holistically integrated, how to integrate all into one. So back to your main question is, if you want to do specifically quiet, calm, abiding meditation without reciting, without counting mantras, then in the sadhana you pause before the mantra recitation, immediately after you finish the generation stage, whether outer or inner, both generation stage. So then you do the semzin meditation. Semzin called holding the mind on the pride of the deity, the clarity, the appearance, the emptiness, and then on duality, and then hold your mind on that. Please feel free to ask your questions, because often people say they don't get opportunity to ask questions. Please feel free to ask your questions, because often people say.
I've heard, like, when you learn how to meditate, it says don't be discouraged if it's going wrong, right? But then if it's going really well, I suppose you can become attached to that.
Yeah. Yes. That's why the teaching says whether your flavor of meditation is good or bad, don't get attached to the good or detached to the bad. See them as both as a temporary. So, and therefore keep your mind from becoming, having a running commentary how bad it was or how good it was. Just bring back to your breath. Bring back to your attention, They call this discursive distractions. So distractions are, you can have a negative distraction, thinking I'm not doing very well, I don't want to meditate, or you get really excited and you're feeling high or good, and then even that it could be a poison of meditation. You get attached to them. Yeah.
So the Heart Sutra only has ultimate bodhicitta, not relative bodhicitta?
Heart Sutra?
Does it have relative bodhicitta?
Of course. It's not the Heart Sutra that has or that hasn't. It's the practitioner have to, when they read and reflect, they need to bring. Heart Sutra is a text. Heart Sutra is a text. Text is not, meaning of the contents of the text contains when it explained both relative and ultimate bodhicitta. You can't say everything is emptiness without realizing what is the thing that people are struggling, not realizing the emptiness of. So therefore, we need to have relative bodhicitta. As you can't have ultimate bodhicitta at the exclusion of a relative bodhicitta. How can you? There is no ultimate bodhicitta without relying on the relative bodhicitta. So you need to develop relative bodhicitta, wishing bodhicitta, engaging bodhicitta, and then seal that with the ultimate bodhicitta. The literal meaning of Heart Sutra is, Heart Sutra may look like an ultimate bodhicitta, but if you really look at the gate, para, sangate, bodhi, those 5 sections of the mantra shows 5 paths of accumulation. So first path of accumulation, path of preparation, these are all practitioners on the relative bodhicitta. Only when you reach in the path of seeing, then you have a glimpse of path, ultimate bodhicitta. Until then, you've been practicing most of the time on path of accumulation, path of preparation. So Heart Sutra is mistaken to say Heart Sutra is only a teaching on the ultimate bodhicitta. Although when it lists all the things, there's no nose, then there's no eye, then so on. When it lists all the 26 no's, then it may look like ultimately there's nothing, but that's actually when it says there is nothing, it means there is nothing that is independently anything. So ultimate bodhicitta cannot be independently ultimate bodhicitta, can it? It has to depend on relative bodhicitta. You could not realize the meaning of ultimate without relying on the relative. Yeah.
You're not meant to move when you're doing sadhanas, isn't it? You're meant to stay.
Yeah. Are you not meant to move when you're doing sadhana? Yes. Ideally, not just sadhana, whatever meditation you set out to do. Like say we were doing that meditation, so we are doing this meditation. You don't get up or do something in the middle. You might have a drink if that's your throat is getting dry or something. Otherwise, you try not to do. Feeling like getting up and having a drink, but you don't. Feel like stretching your legs, but you don't. Likewise, when you are doing your sadhana, you need to sit down, and then until you finish, you don't move. You don't even talk. So you don't answer your phone. You shouldn't. You should use, totally, stop interacting with the other things, because it's considered to be interrupting your sadhana if you're responding to it. It doesn't matter if thought occurs or a door opens or someone walks in, but that's not you. But you're not attending to them and responding to them. You just do. So usually people therefore try to do it in a very good disciplined ways. You can tell yourself in session. You can tell yourself in session and be very strict. I remember when Lama Choedak Rinpoche will be in session, he's in session most of the time. And sometimes you offer his tea, because we always go up and he never goes, and we always think maybe it's time that he needs a drink, even though when he's really quietly meditating, we don't. When he's reciting things, and then you can see he can see us, then we can drink. Sometimes he accepts, without, and other times he says, he says, leave me alone, just don't bring the damn drink. And sometimes he doesn't do anything. We just hold it there. We just hold it there for maybe more than half an hour. And it's a rude to go away, or rude to put it down. Yeah, as a disciple, you hold it there. Yeah, it's incredible. Yeah, some great masters like that.
Is this a photo of you? When His Eminence was giving some empowerment?
Not me, but His Holiness Dalai Lama giving empowerment to His Eminence Choedak Rinpoche giving to His Holiness Dalai Lama. Yeah.
Person standing
That's
I thought it might have been Rinpoche.
no.
So
That's
when was
His
this
Holiness.
taken?
That was in 1984 or 5. I don't know which. I think 85.
Okay.
I wasn't there
You're
anymore.
already gone.
I was already in Australia.
Just
Yeah.
because the photo's black and white, I thought it might have been.
Yeah, someone's
Yeah. Yeah, very old because
So it's definitely not you.
even this is not me. Even this is not me. Yeah, that's His Holiness Dalai Lama's attendant. It's all so that when your meditation is very focused, of course, then you don't see things. There are maybe things that you don't see because your attention is totally focused. Because when you focus on something, you don't see other things, do you? It's like that. So they don't stimulate, or they don't aggravate, or they don't distract your mind. And so it could be said like that. So, because you try to achieve that state of one-pointedness, don't you? Yeah. Even on the corner of your mind, you can see or hear things, but your primary stage of concentration is holding your meditation, so you don't lose. You could hear the door, you could hear the wind, you could maybe feel, but those are just those are there, but doesn't steal your concentration, Anyone else got a question? That's my question. Yeah?
Can you use a mandala set without grains, or it's not considered the done thing? Maybe not just to keep a room tidy or something, but you should. It's not. It's probably not the done thing to use it.
Well, when you do the mandala offering, it's a ritual that requires you to strew the grains. Like we saw in the monastery, they strew so much flowers, and and only half an hour, and half an hour later they have to sweep all of those. So the thing that you strew flowers and rice shouldn't be regarded as dirty. You should see them as an offering, and you should make the offerings. But it's good to sweep them regularly because you want to sweep it away, you know. But if you have a pure perception, everything, let it be, that's fine. Yeah. But then that may attract bugs, and that may attract all kinds of creatures. So therefore, it is hygienic to sweep them, you know, sweep them. Yeah, you see all the monasteries, how many they give you? They just balls of flowers and rice to throw through the rituals. Not just doing mandala offerings, during various stages of during the ritual, they do various ritual activities that requires you to strew those. In India, they give dry flowers. You know, they deliberately make they make the flowers and then make them strew them, and buckets of them they give to people, and they strew them. And then afterwards they sweep them, because it's such a big place like that. They have team of people who will clean them. But when you, as a practitioner, on your own room, you're doing that, you should also clean regularly your room anyway. So that's the little bit of rice here and there is listing all the dust and all the other things that piles up. is invisible strewings. But I don't know who strewed them. Is there an optimal method, if one exists, to teach someone who is not a Buddhist how to practice karma bharima? To provide some context for my question. My parents are not Buddhists, and I'm unsure how can I help them. Yes, I do that all the time here. You know, we teach karma abiding 4 times a year. 8 weeks is the course, and when we teach this course, there is no suggestion that it is Buddhist. Of course, we draw lots of the fundamental teachings on the Buddha's enlightenment, and it is his teaching. But people are mainly taught it as a sane, logical self-help to destroy and prevent cultivation of destructive emotions. How one can mindfully instead learn to recruit positive and intelligent emotions, because people are starving of wisdom and the compassion way of living. And so we therefore facilitate the karma bharima meditation as how to develop into a good human being who does not resort to violence physically, verbally, mentally, through the understanding of the mind and how to cultivate, how to tame the very wild mind. And through sitting, through stillness, through that's why sitting with your parents, not just teaching them theoretically, but sit with them together. Say if you teach them formally, you should really spend time to sit with them and walk with them also. Not just think karma abiding is only when you're sitting, but also could be done while walking. It could be done while chopping fruits or sweeping floors and cleaning things, and even more calmly, in that people usually do not want to do those things. Or when they do it with rashly, and as if try to do it so quickly they wish they can get rid of it. They are not doing it elegantly, mindfully, with grace and dignity. So it's very important to help that calmness and gentleness through words, through deeds, and thoughts. And that's really, even without mentioning Buddhism, particularly if people are not really wanting to know about Buddhism at all, it's really important to see the taming our mind and emotions, and how to mind our mouth, how to mind our ear, and how to live very kindly and gently and peacefully. Most people are totally deluded, egotistically, selfishly. And they don't know how destructive and how unhealthy that it is. And so if we could provide a form of mindfulness, that's why mindfulness is very secularly quite non-threatening, particularly people who are very adverse to religion. And so Buddhism is really awakenism. It's not even Buddhism. I don't know what Buddhism is. If it wasn't awakening your sleepiness and your dullness. So awakening our good heart, our good mind, and good conduct, And quite a lot of, we never hardly run any courses specifically to teach Buddhism, except sometimes we may run introduction to Buddhism or some certain Buddhist teachings, those. But for beginners, we teach the karma abiding as a karma abiding meditation. And they say, I want to come to do meditation. I'm not interested in Buddhism, because they think Buddhism is religion or whatever. They actually know that that it is Buddhist inspired, but once you start actually facilitating what's really relevant to them, rather than teaching about culture and religious aspect of Buddhism, then of course they will slowly realize, this teaching has come from Buddha and its culture of that, and then starting to inquire a little bit about the history of who is Buddha, what is his principles of teaching. Then they start to show, that's fine. So slowly people may take interest into Buddhism, but it doesn't really matter. That's not our purpose. Purpose is so that how that person go back and heal the wounds that they have been so easily injured due to selfishness and due to impatience, due to lack of tolerance. And when they realize, this enables me to heal the wounds with some very important people in their life due to their anger and ill will, and they just bitter over such a miserable issue for such a long time. What a waste of time. And they wake up, they realize, I can breathe like this and resuscitate myself. And they regain the consciousness. And they realize, I have to give up bad mouthing, I have to give up bad thinking, bad attitudes. It's not the people or events, it's my attitude about them is hurting me more than them. And so they really learn to tame their wild elephant mind. Once they have achieved the sort of benefit of that, you would see, maybe your parents may be Christians or non-believers, but they're really, really sane and kind, and they really mind their thoughts before they say anything. And then they will be the first living example of seeing what great changes that made to them and help them or heal them. And then, of course, so be it. They don't want to take up Christianity or anything. That's fine, let alone Buddhism. Buddhism is never interested to convert anybody. It's try to help everybody to become nobody, We have to realize selflessness. That's the whole idea. We don't want to increase Buddhist population of egotistical Buddhists. We wanted to increase the population of emptiness, of realizing no self. But in the meantime, we need a little couple of Dharma friends, and to walk along the path, because otherwise we feel a bit lonely. So it's good to have a few people who agree those philosophical ideas together, and so we are still on that level. So we need a bit of sangha or friendship, and you definitely develop. Oh, your parents or whoever you were trying to teach, they really are much kinder towards themselves and towards you, and you also have a lot of respect to them that you previously thought they never listened to you and all that sort of thing. It's not, if you know how to get rid of your own sort of things that hurts them, things that try to acknowledge that you have done that, you apologize them, you forgive them, really good karma. When you know how to do some practical healings, calming, it is the balm of the Dharma that really heals the wounds over which people are still mourning and groaning about. So that's why the teaching of calmness, calm abiding, is to promote kindness, really. Whether they believe in the future rebirth or past rebirth, it doesn't matter, I think if they can't heal the wounds this life, forget about past lives. Forget about healing the past life wounds, Really, forget about reconciling with people from the past life. It's try to reconcile in this life, and see. Then it naturally brings amazing change. So. So when our connection with our certain family or friends are good, and they feel like learning meditation or recommending people to learn to meditate. These days you can learn meditation without going to a temple or a center. You can learn online, So there are lots of ways to do, So a lot of people, since the COVID, have learned to participate most of the things online because it is convenient. They don't have to be culturally feel very awkward going to a temple and expected to tell them to kneel down or don't point your feet to the Buddha, all that kind of demand some of the culture Buddhists impose. Oh, you can't do that. Oh, you shouldn't do this. they get told very quickly in culturally etiquette things, because people are not disrespectful. They just didn't know they will slowly learn to see what other people do, but sometimes the people become so pedantic about small things. This is not the Buddhist way, and some people get intimidated, and you will turn them off if you do that. So we have to be, people have to make Buddhist teaching very friendly, very acceptable, and very not imposing on other people, but let them check. Even they are learning calm abiding as a Buddhist-inspired meditation. Like say the people who've been teaching Vipassana, the Goenkas group, they highly promote any religious Buddhist practices. He himself admit that he didn't believe it as one. Then later on he realized he's recognized as a Buddhist teacher, and he couldn't handle it because and then of course he has become celebrated leader in teaching, promoting special insight meditation, and it, as a result of that, many people's interest in Buddhism has been greatly improved, or in ties, or created a following of its own. Of course, then he realized that people eventually have. So eventually will identify that, because the benefit is so great they could not ignore or not acknowledge the Buddha. And in Buddhist etiquette, we have to accept the Buddha and Dharma and the Sangha. And so once people wanted to do that, they say, yes, I will. If they will say, yes, I will, then from then on they formally become follower of Buddhism. And that usually happens from the people themselves. They have to come forward, say, I want to formally take up these teachings as my spiritual or my emotional development practice. It really helps me. So they don't mind what they have to do, and so when that happens, that's. But at the very beginning, it's very important to tailor the meditation according to their. If they can't sit, you just maybe need to walk with them around the block, just half an hour each day, and talk very gently and hold their hands and talk about the sanity and calmness, gentleness, non-violence, and not brooding anger, and how to heal the past. Small things like that. You could definitely facilitate or tailor the messages of the teaching. And if they have seen in you some positive changes as a result of what you're doing and what you're now sharing with them, that's the best example they need to see. You're not pushing onto them, but at the same time, what you are facilitating them seems to be very much philosophy that you seem to have adopted. As a result of, they admire and they rejoice the development that they have seen in you that they haven't seen in other times. That's probably the biggest teaching that will take. They'll see they have seen the proof, not just a dry theory. And in the name of whatever, but in actual action, they have witnessed some tangible positive changes. Okay, we have time for one more question. Anyone on Facebook? Anyone the question? If you feel free to type. Hello. Okay, there being no question, we will conclude here. Thank you everybody for taking part in the meditation and question and answer today. So we traditionally dedicate the merits. Dedicate the merits really means whatever positive openings and benefits that may have accrued or will accrue as a result of this, we want to offer it to all. So with this in mind, we will do the dedication merit, the prayers which will be screen shared. Om by this mere me hovaga da diva menzage honez me ale beredo bivrode ojana padare zenade erenda maya nadije whatever Merera me obe kazdelas Rada Mahayana Dije Kareja Manjujrenuode Azamanda Badraharela Follow Zamba Ajadere Mere Mede Salam Bodhijida Tebe Veranayadaza Ver has been Bomeding Sangha Prele Vedade General. Thank you, everyone. Have a lovely festival, Christmas. I'm sure. I don't know what it is, but I know it is a very special thing to most people. People have been brought up in Judeo-Christian background. Whether you are Christian or not, please spend some time with your loved ones. Offer your gratitude. If possible, offer your apologies. It will heal. Make your visit to your loved ones meaningful, not just give some gifts wrapped in shiny paper, but inside you are still dark. So give some gifts that are meaningful and look in the eyes and tell them you love them, and drop those childish views and opinions that are hurting your relationship. That will not only heal you and them, but also those who will have affected by it. So thank you very much. I'll see you next time.